you want to adjust as well.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome into our first episode of Disney for Seniors. It's our time. Welcome into all those in the chat. If you're watching on the replay or watching live, you're going to get to meet some new friends tonight. Some old friends that we've interviewed just recently on the channel, and some brand new friends down the bottom. So, welcome in. Let me introduce everybody, and then I'm going to let them do a quick introduction. Down below me, right directly below me, you'll see coming in one of the bigger supporters over there, Miss Jillian from the Disney for Seniors group coming in. We'll talk to her in just a minute. To her direct screen right for all of you guys is Miss Molly coming in with the amazing ears. We love her ears coming in to join us tonight. And above Molly is guests that if you followed my channel, you've seen them on here a couple times before, and they've, well, at least Nancy's been amazing. Dan's been here, but we love them both. It is Nancy and Dan. It is the creators of Disney for Seniors Facebook group. They also do a lot of other stuff on the side. So real quick, Nancy and Dan, just a quick hello to everybody, just a little quick introduction, and we'll kind of go around and then we'll get started.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Pete. First, thank you, Pete, so much for availing yourself of your channel and your time organizing this, putting this together, and having the podcast. Your support of seniors, of Disney loving seniors, is tremendous. We cannot seriously thank you enough for that.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Disney for Seniors Facebook group, just under 82,000 members now, started 10 months ago, supported by our YouTube channel, Nancy and Dan Travel to Disney for older adults and seniors. And most recently, well, not most recently, but recently, website, Disney for
Nice.
Seniors, Disney number 4, then the word seniors.com. Somebody stole the Disney FOR seniors. And where that's our reference material for seniors, Disney loving seniors. And then most recently, we're experimenting with Instagram and Threads and Blue Sky. It's all about
Nice.
Disney loving seniors, enhancing seniors' experience at everything Disney.
I absolutely love that. And I am going to right now, because I just remembered about it as we were sitting here, and I should have done this the other day. Debbie Bernfeld, I am sending you right now, resending you all the copies of all the links that Dan was just talking about. I'm forwarding that to you on email. So check your email, and if you could do me a favor and drop those links in for me consistently tonight, I would really appreciate it. It's on your email, Miss Bernfeld. So, Miss Molly, a little introduction from you, please.
Sure. So we moved to Florida about 2 years ago. We live full time in an RV.
Nice.
And one of my bucket list items was to become an annual pass holder. And so I did that this summer. And shortly thereafter, I was on Facebook and I was trying to find some groups that might help me use that pass holder to its optimum. And I found Disney for Seniors, and I
Awesome.
absolutely loved the group and have, yeah, been a
Love
big
it.
fan ever since.
Well, welcome in. We're glad you're here tonight. We're going to have some fun.
Thank you.
No matter what Paul Engel says in the chat, we don't listen to him tonight. No, I'm just kidding. Just I like picking on Paul because it's fun to do. Miss Jillian, how are you? Nice to meet you. A little
I'm very
introduction,
good, thank
please.
you. Yeah, as you can probably tell from my accent, I'm from Britain. My husband and I have a holiday home over here in Florida, so we spend half the year here and half the
Oh,
year in the UK.
that's cool.
And then when I found the Disney for Seniors Facebook group, I just thought it was such a great resource of information, and I do try to help out a little bit in the group, doing some of the moderation and things like that as well.
I love it. Awesome. Well, I'm really glad to meet you. Their Facebook group has been an impression on me because they've taken it from zero to where they're at now at 80,000. I'm always impressed by engagement, and the seniors over there, or those who participate, be they seniors or not in that group, they are very engaging, very involved, asking a lot of questions, and I absolutely love everything I've seen. So kudos to Nancy and Dan. Real quick, I want to say hello to
And
people in the chat if we could, and then we'll jump in to some topics. Dan, did you have something else you want to go to real quick?
yeah, just real quick, both Molly and Jillian are being overly modest. Molly is also a contributor of articles to our Disney for Seniors
Oh, awesome.
website, including going to the parks on her own, and a fantastic resource. I keep sending the link to people on. Her husband used a scooter for the very first time back towards the end of the year, and she wrote about their experience. And that's
Nice.
been a tremendous help for folks who are nervous about using a scooter at Walt Disney World. So again,
Okay. Love
can't
it.
thank you enough, Molly, for those. And
Thank
then
you.
for Jillian, her and Chuck Gutt's moderation of the group, we wouldn't be where we are today without them.
Without them.
So Jillian's the
It's
one
a
I want to
lot of
talk.
work.
Jillian's the one I want to talk
Yeah,
to about
until
being
you have
knocked
a
out.
Facebook group. Yeah, until you have a Facebook group that's growing, you no one has any idea the work involved to
No.
just, keep it so it is clean and
Yes.
positive, and there's just a lot to it. So
Love it. Well, I love it. This is fantastic. Jillian will be talking after the stream about how I got kicked out. We're gonna have a discussion, me and you. Okay. She looks thrilled. I'm just kidding with you. She looks thrilled. Let's say hello to we got a lot. We got 35 people in here already coming in to say hello tonight on the first stream. Let's say I'm going to just do a quick hello to Debbie Bernfeld, JC Skipper, Brian Collier. Hello, Colby Sinclair. Hello, Lila Rose. Hello, Teresa Skawara. I always like that name. I always have trouble saying it. Hello, Teresa. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. Debbie Bernfeld, I think I said. Niece Aaron Fletcher's here. Epcot Forever. Jordan, hello. Welcome in. Paul Engel is in the house. That's why I was messing with him. Hello, Diane. Welcome to the channel. Christian Sanchez. Hello. Welcome in. Mr. Thibodeau. Jason's here. Hello. Welcome in. Hatbox Ghost. Jerry. Great to see you. Alv. Hello. Welcome in. Thank you for coming in tonight to check out what we have going on. Park Bros. Lawrence. Hello. Welcome in. Main Street Nick. Good to see you, buddy. Thank you for coming in. Zippity Doo Doug is here as well. Oodalali Lane Kate is here. Dropping down. Disney Stream Finder. Oh, that is a cool name. Disney Stream Finder. I like that name. Welcome in. That is just something new. I'm doing. I didn't see. Okay. If we missed anybody, I promise I will get to you along the way. Debbie is already dropping links to everything from Nancy and Dan. Thank you, Debbie. Please do that throughout the stream. So I think let's get into the first topic here, and I'll start, with the creators of this whole concept. That would be Dan and Nancy. What is meant by Disney for seniors? Why is it a seniors focus in the parks? Why is it so important that we have this opportunity or venue or availability for seniors in the park?
Well, I'll start off. The concept originated where, and I've used this phrase often since, nobody knows seniors and what seniors want, what seniors like, what seniors need better than seniors.
True.
And most of whether it's social media or Facebook or YouTube channel, YouTube Disney influencers, God love them, they're great. However, they're not seniors. They're youngins. They either have their own children and their focus is on when they go to the parks with their children, how does that go? But we couldn't find anyone anywhere that said, you're senior, a senior's focus, we're seniors, here's how we enjoy the Disney parks, the Disney cruises, Disney resort. Here are things that we wish could change to enhance the experience of seniors. And that's what our online community, and again, Jillian's been very, very nice about this, but I've stolen her phrase. It's an online community. It's not just a Facebook group. It's not just a website, but it's a online community of seniors helping each other out on what, and again, that's where the input in the Facebook group, people come and say, hey, anybody know about this, that, or the other thing? And then they'll get from several to many responses of seniors what they've experienced, what's worked for them, what hasn't worked for them, on whatever the question was at the Disney park, resort, cruise, and so on. So it's a
Okay.
seniors focus that no one really had before. At least we couldn't find it.
I love that.
And so that's why we started it.
Well, the community thing, Jillian, I think that's a great way to put it. We have,
Mhm.
I found over like on our channel here, we have a community of friends that we've met and got to meet them down in the parks. It does seem like there's a lot of people over there that are interacting, getting to know each other. I know there's been a meetups that they've had over there and everything. I think Dan's right on that with the community factor that you've put in there.
Yes, I think that's the important thing. When as seniors, we all need to support each other. And there are
Hmm.
so many Facebook groups out there, and they're asking questions about strollers and about children's meals, which aren't really appropriate to seniors unless they're taking their families or their grandchildren with them. And I think for me, one of the things that I kind of hold in mind is that a senior is defined as anyone over 50. And so we have a real range of people within our community. We'll have people who are, perhaps 50 and very active and might want to do slightly different things, to someone who's 80 and coming to celebrate their 50th wedding anniversary with their children and their grandchildren. So it's about fostering a really respectful space where we can all share our ideas and just talk about the things that are important to us. And I think the tone that Nancy and Dan have set for the group have been really good in making it a very positive and respectful community where we can all help each other.
I love that. I'm going to pull Diane's comment down here to the middle. I was trying to figure out where I wanted to put these, but we'll go right here in the middle. Diane says such a great point. Information relative to our needs and wants. So that's where they're definitely trying to go, and hopefully we'll talk a little bit about that as we move on with this whole thing. Molly, how about you? It's a community over there. It's a lot of great people, and it's an opportunity for people to get information.
Absolutely. So when I knew I wanted to go to Disney as a senior, I had no idea other people, other seniors wanted to go to
Hmm.
Disney. So I was thrilled to find a community of like-minded people. And so I'll give you just one example of the community. I was taken with the number of people who dress up who go to Disney. They give
Hmm.
in their costumes or their Disney bounding,
They're
which
bounding. Yep.
isn't me. Yep. But I thought it was fun. And so I found a couple of dresses and I put them on and I took pictures of myself and I put them on the web page. And hundreds of people commented and
Wow.
encouraged me. No, you should really wear the dress. It would be wonderful. And that was never expected it. But yes, it is a community over there of people who are encouraging other seniors to go out and live their best life and live it at Disney.
I love that. Nancy, before we jump off this topic, I think I'd be remiss if I didn't say you guys have had a chance to meet many people from your Disney for Seniors already. Were you surprised at how many people really wanted that actual direct connection of being able to not only start the interaction of a friendship over online, but then you meet them and how great they are?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it is there's a not that it's verbalized, but a little bit of a stigma for us who don't have kids anymore. Our kids are grown, and we aren't going to Disney World to bring our grandchildren, and it's not a family thing. But yet, we're just want to go there as adults and enjoy it. And so, finding other people that are like-minded, I'll steal that from Molly, is that
Hmm.
just it gives that where you can get out there and have fun, and you realize there's a whole bunch of other people your age bracket that are out there having fun as well. And it's not just at the parks, but that support and sharing that fun experience. Dan and I just got off a cruise and we sat at a table with two other couples during our dinner rotation,
Hmm.
and they're just like us, just enjoying it. They've done more cruises than we have, and it's just it was fun to share experiences. They experienced the parks with their kids when they were growing up, but yet still have a love for the parks and other Disney, going on a cruise,
Absolutely.
and it just, it normalizes it. There you go.
That's a great one. That's a great response. I love that. And
Good
it's
work.
nice to meet people like that. Welcome into Mr. Fulton. Welcome into Nandy Pooh Bear. Thank you for joining tonight. We appreciate you guys joining. Also, Jeremy Nguyen came in as well. If you guys have questions or any thoughts along the way, drop them into the chat. We welcome you to do so as we go through our topics tonight. If you're finding us for the first time because you were happened to be crossed over and found this video, well, let me make sure that you're following over on Disney for Seniors over on Facebook. We're going to drop that link in throughout the night. This show that we're doing is all based on the success that they're having over there. We're hopefully going to make it a little bit more interactive and bring topics on from those in the Facebook group on future shows that we do. And of course, if you're having fun here tonight and you're finding me for the first time and you don't mind that I did everything in purple, then hit that subscribe and hang around here with us a little bit. Let's talk for a second here, and I'll start with Molly on this one. How is experience in Disney theme parks different now for you, as you become a senior, as opposed to what it would have been, 20 years ago? And how do those experiences help to give a lot of the information like you're doing to the group?
So I have not been to Disney many times. We took our children probably 4 or 5 times when they were growing up.
Okay.
I went once in high school, and that was it. So for me, going to Disney now as a senior, I'm doing it for me. When I took the kids, I wanted to make sure that they had the best experience for them. I was doing everything for the children. And it's not that I didn't have a great experience. I loved it.
Okay.
But now when I go, I'm going for me. So
Okay.
I don't have to ride every ride. I can enjoy just walking and looking at the people and looking at the small details that I
Yes.
tended to overlook when I was rushing from one ride to another to make sure we got the biggest bang for our buck.
Correct.
And so it's just a matter of I can take it at my own pace, and I can do what I enjoy doing, and I don't feel like I'm pulling the group down by looking at things that maybe they aren't so interested in.
I love it. I love it. Jillian, same question, but I'm going to let you know that, hey, your friend James Slater is here. And he says, I'm a hi all friend of Jillian from the UK, not a senior, but I prefer to have a mature day out and love to do the parks with her and her partner as a group when we are there and have constructive chats. I love it. Constructive chats. That's something new for the Disney community. But Jillian, for you, different now, obviously, as you go through and you can bring that experience of being a senior and how you do the parks to the Disney for Seniors chat.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we were very lucky when our children were little that we used to come over twice a year from the UK to do Disney.
Hmm.
And as we have become older now, it is just very different. So, things like Keys to the Kingdom that you can't do with children, the tours that
No,
you can do, and just going with the flow. I mean, we can meet up with friends and spend 12 hours in Disney without even going in a park. So we might play mini golf, we might walk along the canal from Hollywood Studios to the boardwalk, stop for coffee, have a go on the Skyliner, and end up in a bar, rooftop bar, that kind of
nothing wrong
thing.
with that.
But I think the thing is that the big takeaway for me is that I think a lot of people come to Disney for 2 or 3 days and they feel they've got to get bang for their buck and do ride after ride after ride. And I think as you get older, you've got to step back and think, actually, is this the best bang for my buck to do ride after ride after ride? And
Hmm.
actually, is it better for me to take things at a gentle pace, to be kinder on myself, and just to, like Molly said, just to absorb those details and watch the world go by. So for me, it's very much about just taking things at a slower pace and enjoying the simple things like a cup of coffee with the blue sky and the sun shining, but with that magic of Disney surrounding you and giving that big Disney hug almost. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Dan and Nancy, how about you guys? The experience of Disney is, different now as you've taken it years ago. You've found the insight to start this group. How do you guys see it as this group has grown?
Oh, yeah, our experiences at the park are totally different than they were when our kids were, was trying to get it was trying to have the best experience for them. I will say, similar to like what Molly was saying. Now going to the park, since I've been going to the parks as an adult, it's about experience I would like to have, or Dan and I would like to have. And we don't, and we might have a day where we go, you know, ride rides one after the other. We experienced the Lightning Lane and tried that out the last trip when we were at Thanksgiving time. But typically it's just taking that time to kind of smell the roses and enjoy it. I love people watching, and the International Showcase is the most awesome place to people watch.
You're
So
not wrong
sitting
there.
there,
You're
getting
not.
something to drink and sitting down and just watch, I could do that for probably hours.
We actually did intentionally 6 or 7 hours at Animal Kingdom, and I think back in Thanksgiving weekend. Um, Intentionally did no ride attractions. We did the two shows, Festival of the Lion King and Finding Nemo, the Great Big Blue and Beyond.
Mhm.
But that was it. We just walked around, went down Discovery Trail, and looked at all of what the Imagineers had put together in the faux wood carvings
Tree of Life.
there, the Tree of
Tree of
Life
Life.
that we never seen before.
Yeah.
It really took me aback at going there. How many years or decades now, and never went down Discovery Trail because it was always for our kids. Our children would not be interested in that.
Right.
They'd be, oh, let's go do Everest or so on. And we had the best time with no ride attractions, just two shows, and just wandering around and looking and observing. It's
And a
fantastic.
great lunch. Yeah.
Mm.
So, yep.
I definitely agree with that because I know now I appreciate like Animal Kingdom a lot but more now than I did when I was in, my late 20s running around with the kids because I just saw Animal Kingdom as limited rides they could do and everything was hot and they didn't want to sit there and they could go to the zoo and watch animals. They wanted to come down there to ride the teacups and ride, Peter Pan and all that. So now as you get older, you tend to walk around and you take in, I look at the gorilla casing in a whole new light of love there. So that's a great point there. I love that. Okay, very well. Let's talk for a second. My fourth topic is going to stir some trouble because I'm going to ask things that seniors don't like about Disney. But I'm gonna start Jillian off with a softball easy one here as we go through. Jillian, talk to me for a second. Do seniors have different interests versus young adults? I would think that they do. I think what we were just talking about, me loving the gorillas more now than that, kind of transitions into this question. Do you think they do?
I think the biggest difference between Disney seniors and Disney young adults is that perhaps seniors have a little bit more appreciation of time in terms of that. Whereas a young adult, you're probably still at work. You're in that mindset of having to meet objectives, meet deadlines.
Mhm.
I think as a senior, you're starting to relax a little bit more. So I think you probably take that into Disney with you and have a different approach to it in terms of how you tackle or approach Disney.
It's a great point. Great point. Molly, your thoughts? Disney's right now is seniors' interests different now than young adults?
Um, I would think yes.
Okay.
My personal experience has been I think as a young adult, I am a type A planner.
Okay.
And so if we were going to go for 4 days, I would have it planned from start to finish and very routinized. And this summer, when I went, I intentionally went with zero expectations. I
Oh.
walked into Magic Kingdom. I did not expect to ride a single ride. I don't know what I had no expectations. Now I rode several rides and I loved them and I went to shows and but I had no expectations. I was willing to allow, I think, the Disney magic to um, wash over me as opposed to me try to control what Disney magic would happen.
That's a great answer. I love that. Welcome into Monorail Molly joining us here tonight. Dan, let me
Oh, yay.
go to you guys. Yeah, we've got plenty. All the Mollies are here tonight. I love it. Dan, let me go to get you and Nancy your feedback on seniors now versus their interests that they have as young adults.
Well, I think we can appreciate more. I'm not going to say better, but I'll say more, a greater appreciation for the little things. Disney's famous for the little details everywhere. Sometimes it's the hidden Mickey, sometimes it's just the art that's everywhere, but it's not necessarily just a painting on a wall.
Hmm.
Because we have more time, because we're not looking after and having to, whether it's, say, for myself, much of the time I'd be pushing the wheelchair of my oldest daughter who's special needs, and so I know my focus is not pushing that wheelchair into anybody,
Oh, yeah.
watching other people around us to make sure they were not about to cut in front of her in her wheelchair to hurt her. And so that was my primary focus going in younger is what's good that's not just for her as a child, but the special needs aspect.
Special needs aspect.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because now when Nancy and I go on our own, it's totally different.
Totally
We
different
can
for you.
appreciate because again we're focusing on us a little bit selfishly, but
Hmm.
our golden years, I think we've earned it.
Think you've earned it. Right. Exactly. Diane says, I do believe that I have different interests. I would love to be able to get a great cup of coffee, not coffee, red, not Joffrey's.
Oh,
She
not
doesn't like
Joffrey.
Joffrey's, appears, and more better quality food, less sugar based. The food festivals at Epcot are terrific. They are terrific. I also saw Debbie Bernfeld before I go over to Nancy says, I agree. I think Disney is not so much about the rides. Now I enjoy more just being appreciative and experiencing the magic of the Magic Land. Daniel Barry, welcome as well. I think Nancy, I think the challenge is as you get to this point or get older here and doing Disney differently than young adults. I'm going to use Miss Bernfeld as an example because I know I can. She would have let me do this. When we went down with Debbie this past one of these past trips, she had to take on a scooter for the first time, and it was a different experience for her. She had to think about not running into people and going too fast, going too quick, keeping up with the group and everything. I think that's also a different aspect for all those as we start to become the seniors of our community is how you get around Disney as well.
Oh, certainly. Yeah, I mean, and you have to slow I'm if you're challenged mobility wise, you're going to have to take it slow and and hopefully have your expectations in check because that creates a whole another aspect. But we typically going to the parks, the expectations are much different. It's just to go enjoy the the experience that you're going to be there, arrive, take it all in from the minute you go through the turnstile. And I look at things visually, we'll stop for pictures, so it's
Yeah.
not so much about the rides anymore. And I mean, we enjoy the rides, but that's not the whole focus. When you're young and you're taking your families, that's all I mean, that's mostly what it's about. And for
Yes.
the adults, we're like planned a sit down meal just to recover from the craziness that you're going to endure with your kids, and hoping to keep them from not fighting amongst each other over what they want to do next, and all of that. We don't, that is totally off the table. So it's um it's just so much easier. I
Easier.
think it's
Mhm.
easier
Well,
because time is not an issue.
Well, before I go over to the next question, I'm going to throw in a surprise question to everybody because it kind of made me think about it here. And I'll start with Dan and Nancy and kind of go around. I think expectations or the change that happens for those who reach the senior level, and I'd be curious about your thoughts on this. Usually, you're fiscally more able to do things at this age. Hopefully, you've saved your money. You've done your job at that point. You've put a good little piggy bank for yourself. When you're in your 20s and 30s down there, most of the times you're just starting out your career, and your career is where it's at. And your focus is different. Does the financial aspect of it, being able to do Disney a little bit differently because you now have the dollars in the bank that if you want to go there, you're not feeling like you have to run through and do every last thing to get your dollars out of it because you've accrued enough that you could feel comfortable in, okay, I can buy this Mickey ice cream for $7 even though I don't agree with it. It is what it is, but I can afford it now more than when I was here with my kid, and I've got 3 kids with me, and I'm thinking, how can I get 3 ham sandwich lunches to get me through and buy a couple drinks there? Do you think the finances plays a little difference in it, Dan?
I will say yes and no.
Okay.
One of the studies that I was looking at last year when I was doing some research on this topic was there's a demographic group called the Forgottens.
Okay.
And again, it's not my term, it's a term from one particular research group where it's those 75 and older.
Okay.
That group, their disposable income takes a significant hit or drop compared to, say, the 65 to 70.
Okay.
And in our group, in our community, we've seen it both ways where and again, Jillian and Molly and Nancy, correct if I'm wrong, but at least once a week, someone does a post that says Disney's too expensive, the park admissions are outrageous, the cost to stay at their resorts is outrageous, and so on and so forth. There are others who, and I know Nancy and I have been very fortunate in our lives to have accumulated sufficient disposable income to allow us to your point, Pete, is we've been annual pass holders for what, 5-6 years now,
At least.
as out of state pass holders. We're
Right.
not fortunate to live in Florida, if it's Disney World, where we can get the Pixie Pass at
Right.
ridiculously low price. But yet, and it costs us more to travel there from Phoenix. So you got the travel costs and so on. But we have been very fortunate to enjoy that. And yes, at that point in our lives where, I really want a Mickey ice cream bar. And it's a hot day. And I know it's overpriced, but I want it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and we're not having to pay for it. I mean, we took the family, usually it was once a year, some combination of our children. And, you remove those extra tickets you have to buy. It doesn't seem as,
the cost to go
yeah,
is significantly
as
less for
extreme.
us because we're not having to pay for accommodations
Patients
with
for
our
yeah.
kids, park admission with our kids, their meals, their drinks,
Yeah.
and so on. It's just us. So our total cost
Yeah.
Has
is
dropped
less.
down a little bit. That's a good point too. That's a good point. Okay. Molly, your thoughts just on the financial aspect and how it plays.
I probably come from a different vantage point. So
Awesome.
if I didn't live in Florida, I would not have an annual pass. If I
Okay.
didn't live in Florida, I would still want to visit Disney, but yes, cost would affect it, and I would not be going nearly as often as I'm going now. So,
Okay.
being an annual pass holder here in Florida, I have the Pirate Pass, so it's a
Mm-hmm.
step up from the Pixie Pass. Um, but I have used it far more than I thought I would. So since July, I think I've been 8 times to Disney.
Okay.
I always stay on property because you save 30% when you save on property. Um, the one thing that I might add is I was pleasantly surprised at Disney that they really don't care who orders a child's plate. And I don't eat as much as I did when I was in my 30s. And
Right.
so I love food, but to order an entree everywhere is far more food than I need. So, one way to save money and still have the Disney experience is the child's plate. The other thing I have found that Disney doesn't care if you share an entree. And
No.
so, again, I don't eat it as I
Mhm.
did. So, my husband and I can split an entree, whereas in the past we would have each ordered our own. So I think there are ways to save some money and still enjoy the Disney magic.
I love it. Great point. Before I go over to Jillian, Diane says we bought DVC over 20 years ago when our daughters were young. Now it affords us to bring our adult children to Disney for Christmas. We've been able to stay at Riviera and Wilderness Lodge. Great place to stay. We also want to welcome in Chuck. Chuck Guth is here with us tonight. Welcome in, Chuck. Thanks for joining us here. Jillian, your thought just on financial aspect as opposed to being younger and older.
I think, like Dan says, I mean, it's such a wide range in terms of disposable income that people have. I think the majority of people that are in our group are people who are, have got money and will come to Disney. But there are those posts that come up there and say, I can't afford to come, and people looking for off-site options to keep the budget down. So I think it's very individual. I mean, for us, because we've got flights to pay for as well, of course it's a lot cheaper because now we're only paying for flights for two of us rather than for our children as well.
Right.
And I think because we spend extended periods of time here, I mean, we're very lucky. We've got a home in Celebration and we've got annual passes, that we are more mindful about how we spend our money in Disney, just because we say we come here, we spend 5-6 months a year here. And if we were spending and eating out every single day, we couldn't do that. And there are lots of great options in Disney in terms of meals. Like Molly said, you can do the children's options in there. If you wanted to get a flavour, you can do the festivals and try some of the food
They're
options
great.
at the festival. They're great options as well. So yes, I think there's a real range of demographic. I don't just think because you're a senior means you've got more money to spend at Disney. I think that it's made up of all different people that come. Yeah.
Great points. I love it. I love it. If you're watching on the replay and you're checking it out, leave a comment on the chat if there's topics you want to talk about, or if you want to comment on what we've talked about. We encourage and welcome that. I would love when Dan reposts this over in the Facebook group, that you all jump over there too and get very engaged in the chat and bring up the highlights and comments on what we're going to talk about, because we want this to be more interactive as we move forward. Robin K just joined us. Welcome in, Robin K. Great to see you. Robin K says, at 42 years old, I think I might be a senior already. I too enjoy the sounds of Disney. I could care less about the rides. We're glad you're here, Robin K, and hanging out with us. So I'm going to start with Dan and Nancy on this one, because this is always a tougher topic. I know Dan has one item that he would love to talk about when we get to this here already, because he and I have expunged it a couple times. Oh, also, Debbie Bernfeld is dropping the links in tonight for everything for Dan and Nancy and all of their social medias, along with the Disney for Seniors. So please do me a favor, click on those. There's the one for Threads right there, as Debbie's dropping them all in. Give them a follow over there. Keep up with everything they're running around and doing. Let's talk for a second about Disney and what they don't do. There are stuff that Disney just needs to do to support seniors more. And if those topics were on your mind, what is something from your experience that you would like to see? Obviously, I'm a disabled creator myself, so I look at the world a little bit differently from my standpoint. So Dan, I know where you're going to go first, and I think it's a good one. I really think you got something here that Disney, if you're listening, Disney, knock, 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 listen to this one. Dan, what does Disney need to do better to support their seniors?
Well, I'll do a shameless plug first
Okay.
and just say on the topic, not coincidentally, we're going to have a replay of the most watched video on our YouTube channel for older adults and seniors
Okay.
this Saturday, where we asked, when the group was 10,000 members strong at that point, if they had 5 minutes with Josh D, and anybody who's a Disney fanatic knows who we mean by Josh D.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say his name.
It's
But
okay.
what would you tell Josh D that Disney needs to do to improve the Disney parks experience? And so, if folks want to see many of the answers, it'll be on a video on our YouTube channel this Saturday. Nancy and Dan Travel to Disney. Now,
I encourage everybody to go there and watch it.
having said that, my absolute number one was the most frequently requested item that seniors said they wanted in the parks and in Disney resorts. We've had a couple of different polls on this last year. Grab bars. You do not need to be in the guests with disabilities category to benefit from having grab bars at the toilets, showers, bathtubs, especially those bathtubs in the Disney hotels that are 19 and a half or 20 inches high just to step into. And yes, I brought my tape measure. But grab bars at the Disney resorts throughout the world, grab bars in the bathroom stalls at all of the Disney parks throughout the world, because as one gets older, sometimes it's hard just standing up from, doing your business when you're sitting on a toilet.
Right.
A grab bar, I can go to Lowe's and get a grab bar tomorrow. I can order one off of Amazon.com. I would pay retail, what, $25, $30 max. Disney buys wholesale, can get them a lot less expensive.
Yes,
And
and
they
in
already
bulk.
have their maintenance crews all around. It would be a small investment on Disney's part to show respect, not just to seniors, but anyone from children all the way up to seniors. I won't go through the stats of how grab bars in these areas, shower stalls, bathtubs, toilets, reduce falls from injury. And again, when you have falls, being injured from a fall, lawsuit. So it's
Yeah.
a win-win-win for Disney, show respect for seniors by installing grab bars. They have it in very few of their bathtubs, for example. It's rare. And we're not talking ADA rooms. We're
Right, because it
talking a
says nothing
standard
ADA.
at all levels, value all the way up to deluxe. And as I mentioned, in the parks, in the bathroom stalls, grab bars.
Love it, love it, love it. Nancy, how about you? Anything that's on your mind that Disney could do better?
Well, I'm going to give a positive to Disney, and and they can go more with it. Is that we recently, like I think it was last week, or well, we were on the cruise, so maybe it's been 2 weeks ago. Just happened to see a new marketing advertising for that Disney was, and I don't know if it's just down here. But it was definitely marketing to a senior couple, so that the two people in the ad were, I'm going to say, a couple that was in their 70s.
Okay.
And that it wasn't grandchildren, it wasn't, it was just them, and it was, pushing going to Disney World, but the focus was on this older couple, which, while Disney hasn't reached out to us or our Facebook group, but to me that was a sign that there is maybe a little awareness going on, or realizing that we are a large consumer and we've been lost in the sense that the only time you would ever see older adults in any of their marketing was related to a multi-generational visit. Even DVC resorts, we own at DVC, and you see their marketing that they play in the rooms. It's always multi-generational, where they have the older adults, and look at how big this group is.
Right.
Over 80,000, and it's, yes, some of the people on there, where I'm going to go visit with my grandchildren, but a lot of it's just people like Jillian and Molly, and a lot of them live locally, and they're going, and that's just a huge consumer of their products, parks, cruise line, merchandise, all of it. And they need to recognize us for that, I feel. I mean, I'm not looking at discounts and things like that would be, great, but we exist, and we're spending a lot of money there. So
Great point. Great point. Molly, I'll come down to you. How about your thoughts on just, what could Disney do better from your vantage points?
I'm afraid from my vantage point, I don't have much to add. I am very blessed to still have great mobility. I can walk Epcot and not have a problem.
That's awesome.
So I don't have those issues. Although I must say that I can completely understand the need for a grab bar. Even though my husband was in a scooter for the first time, he was mobile, so that wasn't an issue, but I can definitely see where it would be an issue. And I have seen that commercial because I do live in Florida. And it is wonderful to see marketing be a mirror of who you are. Because it makes you feel like, oh, I can go there too, and I can still be a part. So I agree
Absolutely.
with both what Dan and Nancy said, and I have nothing to add, unfortunately.
That's fine. Jillian, anything to add on this topic?
Yes, I mean, I think like Molly, I'm lucky that I've got good mobility and don't need any additional support going around the parks. But I think the things that I think they could do to make things better would be more seating, areas in the shade for people to take a rest. But I think the big thing that I could have noticed in the queues, in the lines a lot of the time, is that you will have seniors who are fit and active and able. You'll have seniors who are in scooters and will be in the line that way. But I think there's a large number of seniors who are fit enough and able enough to get round the parks to walk from ride to ride, but who struggle to stand in line. And I'd love it if Disney could come up with some sort of system to empower those people to be able to be in the line without having to go to a scooter, because I think a lot of seniors go to a scooter because they can't stand in line. And, you know, Disney being the corporation that they are and the movies that they put out, you know, isn't it all about being the best that you can be and being a superhero? And I'd love it if they could do something to let seniors queue in line without having to make that choice to go to a scooter, when they give them the dignity of having that independence still to queue, but, you know, maybe a return to line or something like that for those people.
Yeah.
that
Right
do
now, their
that.
answer is that they provide a wheelchair that your people that are with you can push, and that's a challenge, as I've talked about just with my disability, but I've talked about it when you think about a senior twofold. One, if two seniors come together and they both need that, well, they can't push each other if they're both in a wheelchair. And then two, if they have challenges with being able to maneuver the wheelchair for whatever reason, medical challenges or whatever that do it, that also makes it an interesting thing. But it also, it's a dignity aspect. There's a lot of people that are there at Disney, be they seniors, disabled, whatever, do not want to have to come out and have to basically beg for some help to just try to be able to go on and ride. It's a small world. They want to try to be able to do that. So I think that's a good point. I don't think Disney's ever done, that I know of, any type of research on that. But I think if Disney ever listens to this video, maybe that's something to look at here as you look at that demographic of people that are bringing like Diane said, a large income coming in, and
Well, and I will add
Nancy
that,
emphasized on that. That
yeah,
was Nancy's emphasis point. She's right.
yeah,
Large income.
yeah.
So that's
Well, and
interesting.
it's great that we have, access to scooters for mobility, people that are challenged to be walking, but to be forced to have to get a scooter because it's more about that standing in line. It's not about, maybe you're someone could be walking 2 miles a day, but then, that's, you're very ambulatory, but then the
Yes.
whole other dynamics and, the lightning lane thing, that's great, but it's another cost add on for people. And so I think, it's just a balance.
Because
And I think it really could be addressed because it is a dignity thing. Shouldn't have to be, in a
go to that.
position where you have
Absolutely.
to pay more for your ticket or get a scooter because you're not going to be able to stand in line. So.
Absolutely. Welcome in, Phil Collins. Thanks for joining tonight. Want to remind everybody tonight that all the links are being dropped throughout the night. And I ask you to please give a follow to the Disney for Seniors Facebook group and all of Nancy and Dan's. And if you're having a good time and you're finding me tonight for the first time, there is Disney content on this channel 7 days a week. Hit that subscribe today and join us more often. What's going to be our final topic for tonight? Because we're coming up. It's always great when you do these shows and you sit back and wow, you realize how quickly an hour's gone because the topics and discussion have been so good. Phil, welcome in, Phil Dable. Hope I'm saying that right. I used to qualify for DAS because of not being able to stand for us in slow time without seats or lean on poles. Yeah, they are definitely being more strict. That has all changed on there. So welcome into all the Phils. Mr. Collins and Mr. Dayball joining us here tonight. Nancy and Dan, I'll start with you on this one. What should seniors not do? Like, if there was a topic we should say, what should seniors not do? I would personally say, okay, trying to run through the park would be one of them. Okay, that would be a major thing. Trying to do the park for me without either a plan of relaxation or a plan of what they wanted to do with their points would be another. I would think a third one for me would be getting frustrated when they can't get to things. Being disabled, myself, I know I had to reteach myself over frustrations of, when I was in my 20s, I could fly to over to Mine Train and jump right on there. And in the first 20 minutes of the park, I might have ridden it once, maybe twice. Now those days are different. So as you're thinking about what should seniors do differently from your advice?
Well, big picture, which again goes to our whole online community. If you're a senior and you love going to Disney parks in your youth, an adult, don't feel that you have to abandon that now you're a senior. There are so
Okay.
many ways that a senior can enjoy, whether it's going on a Disney cruise ship that's 100% immersive
Okay.
with Disney.
Great
It's
point.
just incredible. Nancy and I guess I said, fortunate enough to come back from our second one on this trip, and we're going to book another one. But there's just so many ways that we as seniors can enjoy, quote, Disney, whether it's Disneyland Paris or Hong Kong or Tokyo or Shanghai or in Anaheim or in Orlando. Um, don't give up on maximizing your senior or golden years by going to Disney. You've earned it. And there's so many ways you can accomplish that. That'd be my big picture
Okay.
soapbox.
Okay. Nancy, any thoughts from you?
Don't let the idea of
Oh,
having crowds, deter you from going. You
great
can
point.
go. I mean, we have been when it's extremely busy. Like we started our time here in Florida at the beginning of January, and I did the marathon weekend with my youngest sister, and it was super busy. I mean,
Oh yeah.
really. And but you just you realize that you can see everybody around. You just kind of have to adjust your plan, and you can still have a wonderful time. So don't let the crowds deter you.
Okay. I love those. Great
Don't
points.
have too high expectations. You know, I agree. You should have a plan. I always advise if you're planning on eating in the park to have a reservation, because that could be
Yes.
very frustrating when planning to just show up doesn't work out well often. But uh, don't overplan. There you go.
Mm,
Don't
good.
overplan.
Yeah, that's a great advice. Like, don't overplan. Okay. Love it. Molly, I'll come down to you. Any thoughts on what should Disney seniors not do?
I would probably piggyback on Dan's comment. So I think Disney seniors should not limit their trip to Disney based on a number. Um, so I have found two things that when I
Okay.
go to Disney, either it's nostalgic and I remember all the fond times that I had with my kids and all those memories. And on the other side, I am able to reconnect with maybe the childhood I didn't have. I didn't go to Disney as a child, and so I can go there and I can be a kid again, and it doesn't matter how old I am. And I
That's
can
a
do
great.
it at my own pace, right? But yeah, so
I love that.
absolutely.
Love that. I use that line a lot. I'd be a 10-year-old with my 10-year-old. I think it's a great thing.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Jillian, how about your thoughts?
yeah.
Anything Disney should not, or Disney seniors should not be doing?
Yeah, don't put pressure on yourself. Don't measure yourself against others. I know we're from a Facebook group, but sometimes I think you see things on Facebook or Instagram, and you can almost feel like you're not kind of quite doing as much as other people are. So to say, don't measure yourself against others. Don't measure yourself against your younger self,
Hmm.
because we're older now. We're interested in different things. Our abilities might be a bit different as well, and just be grateful for the time that you do spend in the parks and rejoice in that, rather than comparing yourselves to what others are doing out there, because that just ends up in negativity, and that isn't what Disney's about.
That's great points. I would also throw in there as I was sitting here listening to you all and thinking, and all great points. One, complimenting the ears tonight. Don't hesitate to still be yourself and have fun. Just because you're down there doesn't
Yeah,
mean you have to, dress like you're 90 years old and not doing anything. You can
right.
still go down there and you could Disney bound, as Molly talked about earlier in the stream. You could go down there and Disney theme if you like. You can go down there and I plan to when I'm 60, 70, 80 years old, and I'm blessed enough to be in the parks to still be wearing one of my t-shirts that gotten down there, or dress accordingly for that. So enjoy yourself. You're still able to do that. And the other thing is, which I have seen lately, is uh, understand that as you do Disney, you should do Disney in this aspect like you should have done when you were younger, but maybe you didn't. Know your limitations on alcohol. I have seen many a times lately where those of people that can have a beverage or a libation or two, you can be over in Epcot. And it's real easy to all of a sudden drink 3 or 4 or 5 drinks around the world, and all of a sudden, because if you're down there just as yourself, having someone to support and all that is a good thing there. So we've had a great show here tonight for the first show talking WW Sport. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not wrong. WW Explorer Show. Good to see you in here tonight. I hope you've enjoyed our first time sitting here talking about topics with seniors. We have a bunch more that we'll get to in the next hour. I know we don't have it on the list as much, but I really think cruising would be a great topic one night when we talk all cruise. And I think Nancy and Dan could lead that. I've never taken a cruise, but I'd love to hear the different aspects of that. Maybe that's something else that we would talk about. Before I go around for a final thought of the night, as I always do in all my shows, if you're listening to us on the replay and you're over on the Facebook group, do me a favor. Drop some comments over in on the Facebook group, things you'd like us to talk about, things you'd like to see. Hit it up, as we say, hit up those comments over there. If you're finding us over here on YouTube, you can leave comments on this video after the fact, 100%. Make sure you're following Disney for Seniors if you're coming in and finding this show on YouTube first. The basis of the show started from all the amazing people that followed Nancy and Dan on Disney for Seniors. Almost 8,000 a month. 8,000 people a month can't be wrong. They got to know something that's going on. So I'll finish with Nancy and Dan on a final thought. Miss Jillian, I'll start with you. Final thought, anything you'd like to throw out? Final thought of the night on the first show.
Well, we might all be Disney seniors, but we should also remember a Disney line, which is never grow up. And that's
Never
what we
grow
should
up.
do. Have fun in Disney.
That's a great one. Great finish. Love it. Dropping the microphone. I love it. Miss Molly, over to you.
I don't have anything nearly as quip as that, but I would say that the Disney for Seniors Facebook page is got to be the most encouraging place to be. I think Dan and Nancy and Jillian do a wonderful job of creating a wonderful community that anyone would feel welcome there.
I love it. That's very well said. Very well
Thank
said.
you.
Nancy and Dan, final thought of the night. I'll leave it to you tonight. It's your group that started this. We'll finish with you.
I'm going to say to play along with what Jillian said. You're just never too old to still be enjoying life, whether it's Disney or other aspects of that. We are getting older, and yeah, we're seniors, but we can still enjoy life like we did, when we were younger. So there's not an age cap.
Love it. Love it. Dan?
Well, I would say, and again, like different personality here. Disney, if you're listening, and there are many cast members in the Disney for Senior Facebook group. So Disney, if you're listening,
good point.
give us a call. We would love to work with you collaboratively on how one of your largest demographic groups, seniors 50 plus, there's 120 million Americans, and that was in 2020. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, 120 million Americans that were seniors. Now there's more. So Disney, give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. And other YouTube vloggers, we all know who you are. Love to collaborate with you on helping you focus more on seniors at Disney and Disney loving seniors, what seniors want, their experience.
Love it. Thank you. I thank Nancy and Dan for coming to me with this idea and working with me on this concept. I thank Molly and Jillian for joining in and bringing their aspects to the show. We'll do this again upcoming. Keep a lookout here for more to come. Watch over on the Facebook group. We've got more topics to discuss, and I'm hoping more will come to fruition after everybody sees this first show. You guys hang tight. We'll talk after the show for just a minute. Everybody else,
Thank
good
you,
night.
Thank you,
Pete.
Pete, so much.
Thank you,
Really
Pete.
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
Good night, everybody. We'll see you next time on Disney for Seniors, or hopefully over in the Facebook group.
Thanks, Musketeers, for joining the party. We'll be looking for you tomorrow, same time, same place. Bye, all.